Here, I want to talk about a couple of things. First, needle exchange and safe injection sites. They claim that there's a lot of scientific evidence. The reason that they do these exchanges is it's harm reduction. And I've yet to find any scientific evidence that shows that there has been a reduction in either HIV spreading or Hep-C spreading. What I have seen is a lot of cities with a lot of needles on the streets, in the parks, and playgrounds. Recently there was over in Puget Sound, one of the parks, a 3-year-old got poked by a needle that was on the playground. It was buried in the bark, and they're playing around, and she got poked. Now she's going to have to go through all of the treatment, which is a big needle stuck in your stomach several times for weeks, I guess. I don't know. I've never had Hep-C treatment, but that's their concern. So now this poor kid has to go through this trauma of having a needle stabbed in her stomach every week for several weeks. So how is this really harm reduction when we're actually putting the community at risk? True harm reduction is actually treating addiction, but nobody wants to hear that. In most needle exchange programs, they give you 10 needles for every needle that you bring in. So if you have 10 needles and you're going to go get a free needle, why bring all 10? Just throw 9 away and go get 10 more. Now you have a sharp needle. Because here's the deal. Someone who has been struggling with addiction, intravenous addiction for a long time, is actually their veins have collapsed. That's why they started injecting in their arms, their legs, between their toes and their neck, everywhere, because their veins have collapsed by the use of dull needles and many needles. So what happens is now they need sharp needles. Instead of paying for the needles, they're going to needle exchange places or safe injection sites and getting free sharp needles. Now they don't have to pay for those needles. Now they can use that money to buy more drugs. But there's been a lot of studies done on even the site of a needle. They call it needle fixation or fixation on needles because they actually get addicted to the process of mixing the drugs in their spoon and then drawing it up in the needle, and just by my saying this is going to trigger people. So they see it drawing up into the needle, and now their brain is spiking. And Harvard has done studies. They've shown people the spoon and the needle and monitored their brain activity and then monitored their brain while they used the drugs. And the brain spikes, just the sight of the spoon and the needle, and then that act of preparing to use the drugs. So the other part of harm reduction is they say that the person is going to a safe injection site, so then now they have the opportunity to have a discussion with them about treatment. When you're dope sick or jonesing for a fix, the last thing you're going to want to hear is anything about treatment. You may sit there and nod, but all you're there for is so you're not sick. You want to get well. And when they say get well, that means no longer dope sick. Because they're withdrawing. So now that they've gotten their fix and they've injected heroin, now they're high. Do you think they're going to listen to talk about treatment now? Of course not. Now they're high. They don't care about, I almost swore there. They don't care about anything. They're good. Now they're out. So you think about all of these cities and putting in free needle exchange places and injection sites, and you wonder why there's so many needles on the street. Well, it's because they got them for free, and they don't have to bring them back. It's not like the old days when you bought a bottle of Coca-Cola. You had to pay a bottle fee, an exchange fee, to get your money back. There's no core charge for a needle. So they just, they get 10, throw away 9, bring 1 back, get 10 more sharp ones. Now they take them back to their camp, to all their friends, their new family, because in these camps they get a sense of belonging. And that's why they're involved in the camps, because it's become their family. They have no one else. So now they share those needles with their friends, the needle that they just injected in their arm. So have we created a situation that actually creates more chances of disease spreading? Because instead of having one needle that you're not going to give up, you're not going to let anybody use because you don't want it to get dull, you're going to share it over and over because you got 9 more in your backpack. So now that one needle gets passed around till it's too dull, it's thrown away. Out comes a new needle, that gets shared, thrown away, till now you go get more needles. So we've created a situation that is actually dangerous. We're putting our harm reduction is putting the community at risk, because we have, in the case of San Francisco, they give out 400,000 needles a month, and half of those come back, or so they say. It's really about 1/3 of those actually come back. The rest of them are found on the street. So there's about 4 million needles floating around every year on the streets of San Francisco. No wonder the EPA is concerned about all of this toxicity, human waste, and needles and everything running into the gutters, which run into the sewer, which run into the drainage system that runs into our ocean. So, you want to talk about environmental harm? Let's look at what we're creating. Harm reduction. Is it creating a hazardous situation, or is it doing more harm than good? Thanks, and have a great day.